All right, we're on and we're live. Good day and welcome to the Automotive Society podcast. My name is Siraj and today I'm joined by Mitch.
How are you guys?
You good?
Lovely. Yeah, good.
You
I'm
good?
just not gonna lie, just a tad nervous with the camera in my face, not used to it, but I'm sure I'll warm up to it during the podcast.
Yeah, I'm just trying to have a look at the phone as well, just to make sure that the stream is going well. And looks all right.
The old repeat.
That's
I like
it. Yeah, a little bit lag, obviously. But yeah, how's life going, Mitch?
Yeah, really good.
Yeah.
I finally got out of uni, which is exciting.
Oh,
So,
that's true.
no more mechanical engineering at uni. A little bit more work, but at least it pays well. Better
Yeah.
than being at uni working at a pub. So.
Yeah, 100%. So you're working as a full-time mechanical engineer.
Yeah, basically. I mean, look, it'd be a stretch to say as a mechanical engineer, more as a project manager, but there's certainly mechanical engineering aspects about it.
Yeah.
In HVAC in particular, so everything to do with air conditioning, data centers, things like that.
Yeah, from what I've heard, a lot of mechanical engineers go towards HVAC actually.
Yeah,
One,
it's
it pays
booming.
well, and two, it's very wanted everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, like if you think of companies like Google, Amazon, Microsoft, they're building data centers by the day.
Yeah.
So there's always work. There's always going to be work in the communication sector.
Yeah.
So it was a lucky find. A mate of mine actually hooked me up with a job, and I've really, really enjoyed it. Learning heaps on every single day, which is, I think, what I enjoy the most about it. It's the challenge, learning heaps, and then, having a bit more money spare, which is good to do my little hobbies on the side.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like it's a good place to be where you get to do something that's got nothing to do with your hobby or your passion. But then you come home and you're suddenly rejuvenated because you're like, oh, I haven't done this in a while. Let's do it.
Yeah.
And you get to work on the car, which is good. Which I reckon I complain about a lot working in the automotive industry. I always complained about when I got home, the last thing I wanted to do was work on my car because that's all I've been doing all day.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like, as a bartender for 6 years, coming home and then having to clean. It's like that's what you do the whole time when you're working is clean and pick up after people, and then having to do that when you get home. It's not something you want to do. So
Nah.
I understand, working in the automotive industry, working on cars every day, then coming home and someone go, hey, do you want to come work on a car with me? You're like, yeah, not really.
Yeah.
Even if they're a good mate or whatever, like, it's just understandable that you'd be exhausted, tired from doing the same thing all day, every
that's
day.
it. I've actually been taking a little break from working on cars. Like, I have been working on cars, obviously. I have my own workshop, so I have to have customers. So I have to work on cars somewhat. But I've been taking a break from my own cars, modifying my own stuff, doing anything with it. So I don't know if I gave the update last time, but my Evo was hit by a truck. So the entire right hand side was smashed.
That's a sad day.
Yeah, this happened in September, like start of September.
How's that insurance going?
It's still not fixed. I'm still going with insurance. It's a daily struggle and a fight. Really. So maybe one day I'll get through to them and maybe get my car fixed. But you know what? Like, to be honest, part of me is not too fussed. Like, I want my car fixed ASAP. But there hasn't been that many days where I'm like, oh my God, I really, really need my car today.
Yeah.
I'm kind of
interesting you say that. I feel the same with my WRX.
Yeah.
Haven't driven it for like 3 months and I actually don't miss it.
Yeah.
And I guess that's because of the kind of driving that I do nowadays, which is in the traffic a lot and stuff. So yeah, I totally agree with that. Yeah. Don't
Yeah,
really miss it
exactly.
as much as
I
thought
feel
would.
like a little break every now and then is necessary. And if you're burnt out this much, then it's probably good to have a break.
Yeah.
Because when you do want to go back in it, you actually want to go back in it. It's not like
fun.
you're forcing yourself to go back in it.
Yeah.
Whereas if I drive the Evo every single day and something breaks, I'm forced to work on it because I have to fix it. And obviously there's still heaps of stuff wrong with the Evo that needs to be done. I still need to do my fuel pump and carrier because this one's failed. My fuel pressure is like way too high because there's a Venturi jet in the fuel pump carrier that is causing a lot of restriction because my fuel pump is larger and quite high flow rate. So I will go one step below on the flow rate and one step higher on the Venturi jet.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, so I need to
work
fix
fine.
that. And then, but that obviously means I need to go to tune, which is obviously
Which is
expensive. I used to work for a company that did tuning, but now I no longer do. So I have to
A little
get
bit
it.
harder.
I have to pay for it. or tune it myself, which
is what you'll get the opportunity to do soon.
Yeah, I might trust myself with an NA car, but with a turbo car, especially my car making 25 pounds of boost, I think that's a little bit too high for me to start meddling with.
Easy to get that wrong and then have something catastrophic.
Yeah, like I've done the run-in tune, so I can run it to the tuner, no problem. But I don't want to do the power tune at like 8,000 RPM. Yeah. So that's where I'm at with the Evo. I just haven't done much with it. We will be editing and producing a video that is going to come out soon on the channel. That is the EG Civic getting some LED lights.
Yeah. That's like that's the most basic of installations that's going to happen on it, and I still struggled. Yeah,
it's been so long since I posted a podcast. I actually don't remember what I've told you and what I haven't told you. I don't know if you guys know, but I bought an EG Civic a while ago, which then I sold to Mitch.
Stays in the family.
Yeah. With obviously, I love the car so much. Mitch needed a daily, and I had too many cars lying about, so I needed to get some space, which didn't end out well anyway. Now I have no space again.
Yeah, again.
I don't know what happens.
I don't know, you just keep buying more cars, more stuff, more equipment. What is
it? I feel like I didn't even buy them that much. Like I feel like they just
roll in and just
stay. Yeah. A project comes in and then it just never leaves.
Yeah, I think with the Civic though, it was a bit of a necessity for me. I don't know if I've mentioned this story on the podcast, but my granddad doesn't drive anymore, and so he gave me his Honda Accord Euro. Beautiful car, 2004, 60,000 Ks, possibly one of the greatest dailies you could ask for. Yeah, that was going to be mine for a little while, and was going out to my girlfriend's place and got rear-ended by a Navara, 18-year-old in a Navara. Not that I'm saying anything against 18-year-olds, but his first comment was, "Oh, I promise I wasn't on my phone." Yeah. But stuff happens, and you got to make the best of it. And what better way to improve a situation like that than buy an EG Civic and put all the running gear from an Accord Euro into it?
That's it.
When you've got it available, you may as well. Otherwise, it just ends up in a scrap heap. And I wanted to make the best of it. So yeah, that's the plan, and that's going to be the Civic in the near future, which I'm very excited about.
Yeah, fair enough. Like I'm obviously super excited. I'm doing all the work on it. Keen to learn more about Hondas. Like from what I know, I'm very excited. The more you look into Hondas, the more you realize that they're probably the pinnacle. Like they're amazing.
Yeah, and like so many interchangeable parts, especially on the older cars. I mean, that probably applies to old Subarus, old Toyotas as well. But my goodness, the aftermarket support for Hondas is fantastic. You go onto Hard Race and they've got every single suspension replacement component for an EG Civic.
Yeah.
And so I had to buy one of each.
In that case, like we'll have to get to that because Mitch has been going absolutely bonkers buying parts for this Civic.
Yeah.
So much so that he's even bought himself a spare Civic.
Yeah. A Civic to replace the Civic daily. That's how it works.
Basically, I think. Well, I'll start from the start. So we want to put a K24 A3 in the Civic. Leave it an A for now. Put a manual gearbox in and run a good healthy amount of power, and just take it for a track. So it'll be a track only car. Roll cage, full suspension, track brakes and everything, and just have fun with it. Like something that we haven't done too much, you haven't modified your car too much because it's fairly new.
Yeah, the STI is just like modification so it doesn't explode on the track. Radiator, brakes.
There's not much you've had to do with it. I feel like you haven't reached the limit of the car.
Oh, yeah, no way.
Yeah.
Once you put good tires on it and it reaches another limit, then you need more power, then you need whatever. So, the STI was great. It was a good little daily while it lasted, but with the current fuel prices now as well, man, far out. It's very hard to run a car like that daily.
Yeah.
380 Ks out of a tank, you fill it up, $2.30 a litre, 55 litres. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's pretty expensive.
Over $100 per tank. And I fill up twice a week with that car. So, yeah. The EG was a breath of fresh air. Comes in, 40-litre tank, 600 Ks per tank. It's ridiculous. Unbelievable.
Yeah. And you can put like 95 in. And
I put 98 in it. Always.
You treat it too well.
Yeah.
But it's fun. Also, the fact that you can go full throttle in an EG Civic. So we have a carbureted 1.5 liter. You can go full throttle in it, and you're nowhere near the speed limit. I blast past speed cameras, not even worrying that I'll get caught.
It's a good feeling because it's hard to speed in it. You know what I mean? Like you're driving along, and you're, how fast am I going? 55 and a 60.
Yeah.
How good's that?
Yeah.
You're rolling in the STI in fourth gear, and you're going 75.
Yeah.
Just faster than most speed limits in New South Wales as it is. All the standard ones.
Which I know it sounds fun to have a fast car, but it's actually way more fun to have a slow car and you drive it, 10/10s all the time.
Yeah, for sure. And that's the same as the track as well. You have a fast car on the track, like an STI, it's worth 50 grand or something. If you crash that, that's a massive asset that you've just lost.
Yeah.
You take a $5,000 Civic on the track that has, $15,000 worth of mods, and you crash it, it's going to suck, but it's not 50 grand.
Yeah.
And the setup that we're going to have is probably going to be twice as fast as the STI anyway, or stock one at least.
Yeah. Well, it weighs probably 900 kilos.
Yeah, less.
And makes like a healthy 250 horsepower at the wheels.
Yeah. And probably more torque than the STI would make, especially low down.
Yeah, probably.
So, it's going to be great coming out of corners. Lightweight, nimble, torquey, decent horsepower.
So super excited about the EG. I think that's a great project. I think neither of us were Honda boys until I bought the EG Civic. I bought it as a daily for myself, and then soon realized that, oh my god, this thing the potential is insane with the aftermarket, with the power, and all I need to do is do one engine swap, which is not even a hard engine swap. It's a Honda to Honda.
Yeah.
I know it's like 20 years newer, the engine, but still at the end of the day, it's a couple of engine mounts, a little bit of, I know on the EG you have to cut a little bit of the subframe or the chassis just to fit one or two things in. But at the end of the day, the whole swap is fairly cheap compared to
minimal fabrication for an engine
compared to
swap
like a Subaru or a Nissan or any other brand that you go for. It's obviously a lot cheaper.
And Subarus, they're quite tightly packed. Just changing the sump on my car was a hassle without really taking out the engine.
That's it.
All the engine mounts off, jack up the engine if you want to do it without taking it out, even drop a subframe if you want to. But the Civic is just accessible.
Yeah,
it's a massive engine bay. Get the Hasport engine mounts in, gearbox mounts, and away you go. It's ready to send.
I used to think for the longest time that I didn't want a front wheel drive, and while that is true, I kind of enjoyed tracking my Evo, and it was really fun. And then at the end of the day, if you think about it, you tracked an STI and I tracked an Evo. So at the end of the day, an all-wheel drive car on the track drives very similar to a front-wheel drive. Nothing like a rear-wheel drive. Yeah, like a rear-wheel drive drives very differently to an all-wheel drive and front-wheel drive. So in that case, Mitch and I are both used to the understeer. We both know the faster racing line for a front wheel drive closer than to a rear wheel drive.
Yeah, definitely.
So, and the other thing is most rear wheel drive chassis out there and engine combos are like 3 times the price. Especially if you want to go with manual.
Yeah.
The entry, like the price entry price for the Civic is a lot lower than majority of cars out there.
Yeah, especially if you're buying like an MX-5 now. The price of those have gone up ridiculous, even for the NAs.
Yeah.
For a good one, you'd always pay a little bit more, but I've seen them listed for 15, 16 grand for a decent one. But
even if you go down the route, let's say you get an MX-5, let's say you spend 7K. I think that's decent amount for a track car. It might be on the high end for some budgets or low end. But let's say you spend 7K on an MX-5 and a 7K on a Civic, right? Like side by side. The Civic gearbox and LSD, or like Civic gearbox with an LSD and everything inside it, like how much is that?
Yeah, I don't know. Like if you're getting like an S80 or one of the like B series ones, like $1,500-$1,600, maybe a bit less.
Yeah.
But that's inclusive of like the LSD, like the VTI models and stuff like that. So
like a CAS 1.5 way LSD for an MX-5 is like $2,400.
Yeah.
And that's not including the special diff oil that you need to put in it.
Yeah.
And then not to mention then you got to install it, right? But on the Civic, it's a lot cheaper. Not to mention when you get a good LSD gearbox, the gearbox is just as strong as the LSD, so they go hand in hand. With the MX-5, that's $2,000 you're spending on just the LSD. That's got nothing to do with the gearbox. Then you have to go and get the gearbox rebuilt or get stronger synchros and stuff like that, which is way more expensive.
And everything,
and I don't know why. Like even axles, if you go for beefy axles on an MX-5, you're looking at upwards of $500, whereas on a Civic you're looking at $100 to $200.
A couple $100.
Exactly. It's a massive difference. Everything just adds up on everything else, even if it's a cheap car. Whereas on a Honda, it's a lot easier to get parts. And
there's a huge amount on Marketplace nowadays. If you're looking at any of the Honda pages, like people are just getting rid of old parts, and you can pick up some absolute gems. Like, for example, we're planning on putting the Honda Accord Euro hubs in, which is a 5-stud conversion. That also fits DC5 Type R shafts. Yeah. So you can have the thicker DC5 Type R shafts mated to a 5-stud conversion, and there you go. That's a DC5 stud to a decent hub. Yeah, and like that's the other thing. It's much like Lego. All Hondas are very similar in that terms. Like I actually bought the EG Civic with a big brake kit, and the big brake kit is off a Honda CRV. You would never look at a CRV and go, "That's a good performance." Big brake kit for my car, for my race car. Yeah. But it works, people do it. The other one people run is Porsche 911. Yeah. I can't remember exactly, but it's like you can get the Brembos from the Porsche. Yeah, you can get Brembos off a Porsche that also bolts straight onto the Civic, with not much problem. Unbelievable. Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, so we have the EG Civic and the full build coming with that. We'll obviously be doing little videos here and there. We're not great at editing, so the editing will take a while and it might not look amazing straight away. Somewhere. Yeah, got to start somewhere. The other Civic that you bought as a daily is an EK. Yeah. So a little bit different, a little bit more comfortable. Yeah, I'm working my way up the models all the way to the FK8, I think. Something like that. So obviously the EG is going in to get all this work done, and the whole reason I bought the EG originally was as a daily. To stop driving the STI. Yep. I then made the most out of it with the Accord Euro being crashed. Now that it's going in, I needed another daily. I didn't need another daily. I probably could have done without one, but picked up an EK for $4,000 manual. It's got the D16Y, so it's the slightly larger one. Yep. All the internal interior stuff is fine. There's no rips or tears in any of the seats. The boot's a little bit larger, so I can fit more in it. Yeah. It's still a hatch, so I still have, I can stuck. Last time when I drove the EG to Bunnings, I picked up I think it was a 72-inch workbench with built-in, drawers and all that sort of stuff. That fit in the back, and it would easily fit in the back of this now. That's insane. That's like 300 kilos. Yeah, something like it was like 100 and I think it was like 207 kilos or something like that. Oh, okay. And I had myself and Max, one of the other executives from the Automotive Society, sitting in the front seat, cramped up like this against the dashboard, and me driving like this because the thing was in the back, and still got home unloaded. That's insane. That's so much weight for the little feels Civic. Like a little Hilux. It's fantastic. Well, that Civic's super practical. Hatchbacks are really good, and most people love them because of that. So yeah, super keen to see it be a completely different purpose, from the reliable, comfortable daily with lots of fuel economy to a powerful track car that's super light and going to be impractical. Yeah, and it's going to be a really awesome learning curve for myself. I do a lot of like basic services on my cars, everything from gearbox to diff to engine oil, filters, that sort of stuff. Yeah. But very, very little fabrication. Yeah. Maybe I've made a couple of mounts for go-karts and things like that, but that's really about it. And they're quite simple because it's accessible and easy to do. But this will be a really, really awesome opportunity for me to actually understand what's in the car, how it works, how it goes together. And I think that's another reason that like drove us to doing that. Yeah. Just a massive learning curve and ability to do it, because you have your workshop. I have the car that's crashed that has all the parts in it. And we're having a little bit of extra time over Christmas now, so hopefully get some more work done on it. Yeah, we just got lucky with a few little things, so ended up it's going to be a lot cheaper than obviously if you didn't have an Accord Euro to start with. Yeah. Although we're saying that we picked up the Accord Euro back from
auction, like insurance,
as a salvage title.
as a salvage title for like $800. So
yeah, got $10,400. That was after paying the salvage as well for the car. So
which I don't know if you got lucky or if other people are getting really unlucky, but most of the time salvage titles cost you usually 1,000 ish, right? I would say. I spoke to this guy yesterday who crashed. Well, someone crashed into his STI Hawkeye.
Oh, my favorite one.
Smashed up the front end, and his insurance gonna write it off. And he was like, "I'll buy the salvage title back. $4,000.
Yeah,
$4,000 for his salvage title. $4,000 is a lot of money.
Yeah, yeah.
Considering the car's only worth like 10 grand more than that. Yeah, that's insane.
It's mental. I always thought that, you know, the salvage titles would be literally, they'd almost give it back to you. Like, obviously they pay you out, so you have to pay something for the car. But yeah, to be paying, you know, Civic EK prices to get a car that you can't actually register on the road anymore, just to get it back. Yeah. I'm not sure what the process is.
Well, maybe it's a repairable write-off, and then I think the quote to fix it was like 12 grand or 13 grand.
Like,
they were like, no, but my mate said, I might buy it back as a salvage title and then fix it myself. And I was like, but as if you'd spend
$4,000 just on
$4,000 to get it, and then 13 grand to get it fixed, and then you may as well go buy another one for the same price, right?
Yeah.
That's whack. Or otherwise, I guess we can part it out and make some money back.
Make a little bit, which is going to be a good thing with the Accord Hero, because we're not using everything, obviously, interior seats, dashes, wheels, all that sort of stuff. Yeah. All in mint condition and all can be sold. So that's going to help, I guess, fund a little bit more for the Civic too. Yeah. Which is really good.
I hope your wallet is a little bit lucrative at the moment. There's a lot of Black Friday sales going on.
I've heard.
For a few things. And
Facebook's very good at targeted marketing. It's got me on a few websites that I shouldn't be on, spending money that I don't really have.
I saw a few range of ECUs and dashes that are on sale.
Oh, I see what you're getting at now.
Yeah, they're like, I think like if you buy the dash and the ECU, I think it's like $500-$600 off.
Don't tell me that. I might just have to do it now.
Big sale.
So $1,500 and an IC7.
Yeah.
$500 off.
Yeah.
Oh, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
It's very dangerous.
Right.
You're worse than Facebook Marketplace, mate.
I only got targeted myself, and I'm relaying this information because I want the dash for my Evo. And I was like, oh my God.
May as well tell Mitch he'll probably get one as well, yeah.
Maybe we can do a bulk buy. I don't know. Maybe I can contact some people and see if we can get it.
Are they in stock now?
Yeah. Everything's in stock.
How good's that?
Yeah. We had a massive shortage for automotive stuff. I don't know, for a little bit. But hopefully we're back on track. So far what I've seen is everyone's back on track except for the big brands. Like Motec's not back yet. And I don't want to call out like a lot of brands. They're not the only ones. A lot of brands are not in stock yet. Which is the same silicon chip shortage. So it just depends on when R&D catches up by replacing the old chips with something new that is available. You know, that's what they've had to do. It's more sacrifices. Like sometimes the new product that's coming out now with the new chip isn't always the better product.
Yeah.
And that goes across every brand out there.
It's like the first gen of anything. You get the first gen car that's released. That's the one that has the problem, and then the second gen's a bit better. Third gen's the best usually.
Yeah. So like a lot of technology companies are having to research and develop their product, which they've always sold with a different chip in it. So they've had to have different like hardware, which can make it better or worse. You know, depends on what they're getting. But that's just because I guess we're in the engineering realm, so we know that's common practice. But anywho,
I was actually going to ask you a couple of questions about your future with your cars, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because you know, obviously your comments suggesting that, you know, driving the Evo not every day, you don't really miss it as much. You obviously have a few other cars in your repertoire. And what's your plans with like the Evo, the RX-7, the MX-5, all that sort of stuff?
There's always a lot going on through my mind.
Like what's your brain say and what's your heart say about all the cars? There's obviously two very different opinions.
So with the MX-5, it's going to remain a street car. And because it's on historic retro at the moment, it is completely bog stock factory standard. And it's probably going to retain standard. Like I'll do some coilovers in it because the suspension in it right now is blown, so I need to replace it anyway. Some wheels and tires, and just leave it as a nice street car.
Yeah, awesome.
And just enjoy it. Because I think it's really fun as it is, and it's not a car that, you know, people go for. Well, I know a lot of people go for power with them, but it's not a car that I feel like needs power to have fun with.
Yeah.
I actually would say NA underpowered is more fun in an MX-5.
Yeah. Like you said, the 10/10.
Yeah,
on the
yeah,
street,
exactly.
like, enjoy a slow car
if it
for
did
sure.
make 300 kilowatts, like I'd be scared for my life. Also, not to mention if you were to get in a car accident with an MX-5, you may as well be in a scooter.
Yeah.
There's not
Your
much
crumple
protection.
zone is your knees anyway. So.
Yeah, exactly. There's not much protection there. So in that way, the MX-5, I'm happy with it as it is. If the engine was to ever blow up, pop, do anything stupid, I want to go to a 1.8. It's a 1.6 liter because I have the NA model, was the early one. I'd go with a 1.8 and maybe put some cams in it and just refreshen an engine, and that'll make some little bit more torque, which I would enjoy, and that's about it.
Yeah.
I think still leave it factory with a 1.8.
And the Evo?
The Evo, once obviously panel repairs are done, it needs a fuel system, and then it needs a tune.
And then sold?
No, I like, okay, one. my brain always thinks of selling it, but my heart obviously says no because I
always wanted a 9 though anyway.
Yeah, I've always wanted a 9. I do really like the car, but I know that even if I was to sell it, I couldn't afford a 9. Like I can't afford that little bit extra. So a big part of my plan is just to keep it for as long as possible and then buy a 9 or an 8MR when I can afford them, and then swap over all the good stuff from my car onto the 8MR or the 9, and then sell it.
Yeah, okay. So you'd actually have to purchase the 9 before you even sold.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
So
big financial commitment then if you want to do it that way.
Yeah, which would most probably be like, it's a risk, right? And most probably be I get a bank loan, I get another car, and then I swap over the stuff and then I sell it. Unless I have a mate out there with an Evo 9 or an Evo 8MR that wants to sell it to me and
hella cheap
and is happy for me to do all the swap and then buy when I sell mine.
Yeah. Or even one that's got a little bit of like gearbox trouble or a little bit of engine trouble, something that you can fix up by swapping that in. They might buy it cheaper, you know.
I mean, I'm at this point, I'd be happy buying even a roller, you know. I don't mind.
Yeah.
That doesn't affect me. So yeah, that's where I'm at with the Evo. I do want to sell it, but at the same time I don't want to sell it. If I was to sell it, I wouldn't be able to buy anything that's even close to it in comfort, performance, and street car, like that's practical. It's a 4-door, 5-seater with a big boot, you know, and it's 4-cylinder, so it doesn't cost me an arm and a leg with fuel. If I was to replace it with anything that's even close to that for the money I've spent on it,
money, time, everything on it.
Yeah, like I'd either be in a, you know, like a Euro car that's going to cost me a lot more to maintain or whatever, or I'd be in a really old like luxury car, which is like a Mercedes or something. But that's what I meant, like
a Century,
or like a V8, you know.
Yeah. Which right now is just not practical,
not feasible. Yeah. So that's the Evo.
What would you do with the money if you sold it and you weren't planning on buying a 9 or doing something like that? Would you put it towards the?
I would immediately go out and buy a track car, like a cheap track car.
And we could race together.
Yeah,
that'd be fun.
I would immediately go out and buy a cheap track car just so I can have something that will give me seat time and I wouldn't be worried about it. And the rest of the money I'd probably put into my RX-7 and maybe buy a cheap daily.
I've seen so many like Pulsars, EGs, stuff like that on my 105 come up for sale in the like low 20s, high teens. What a great purchase for some seat time if you have the money for it.
You know, I don't know. This is going to be maybe a hot take, but from what I've seen on my 105 and other people selling race cars is you buy a $4,000 Hyundai Excel, right? In mint condition.
Yeah.
Yeah. You buy a $3,000 roll cage. You strip the crap out of it. You sell the interior for, let's say, let's not say a grand.
Let's say $500. Yeah.
Let's say $500. Yeah. So you're 6-7 grand into this car. And then you've put some cam stickers on it, and you've taken out aircon. You've taken out a few things.
Yeah, sold that, put a seat in it.
Yeah, put a seat in it. Let's say that's another grand. A harness in it. That's $300.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say you're 8-9 in it. Yeah. Suddenly, this car, then you flog for a whole year, for a whole season in a racing series until you can afford something better for the year after you want to upgrade. Suddenly, this 6, 7, 8 grand car that's been absolutely flogged to the end of its life is now worth 18K, 17K on my 105 and other race car things. It's so much cheaper to just go out, buy a car and turn it into a race car. Like, all you're doing is stripping it and putting a roll cage in it. There's nothing special to it. And I know that because I'm doing the same thing with a Subaru Impreza now.
Just to get it on the track and working,
just to get on the track and running. Yeah, I want to enter into an endurance race for next year. I'm not going to give too many details about it, just in case it doesn't happen. Just in case, I don't know, something happens. The car comes. It's currently being shipped over interstate, and if it comes in, it's an absolute nugget. Maybe it might not work. I've already bought the roll cage for it, so I hope
it works.
Hope it works. Hope it's not too bad.
Put on my 105, sell it for 15 as a roller or something.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. I can put it up for even 10K, 11K for a race car with a roll cage and everything done, and that's a normal going price. I don't understand that.
Yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
You're much better going off and buying a 3 grand, 4 grand car and just stripping it yourself, and then making profit on the interior that you're going to sell anyway because you're not going to use it.
Yeah.
Depending on the car, obviously. Which in my case is the Impreza, which I feel like the interior would be worth a decent amount.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of Imprezas out there don't have the best interior.
Yeah.
And someone would want something on the other. Yeah. A little freshen up. And from the photos that I've seen, the interior on my one is amazing. So
I think my goal with my car situation at the moment is that the EG is obviously going to become the race car.
Yeah.
I actually want to sell the STI. It's been a long time coming, and people have been talking to me about it and saying, "Oh, you should sell it." And I just finally sort of bit the bullet, and I think at the end of the year that it's probably time to let it go. Before the COVID prices dip, I feel like they're sort of stagnant now. People are still listening up for crazy prices, but they're getting beaten down. So
why don't you put it up for sale now, and then see what offers you get, and then just take the highest offer,
something like that.
Yeah, just take the highest offer and see. You might get a really good offer now that you might not later on. Just because
for sure.
We've been talking about this for a while. I think I've definitely think that we spoke about this in the last episode, but car market's going down, prices are going down, and I reckon January, February is when they'll be at their lowest by far. After the Christmas period, people are just going to realize that they should be spending more money on holidays, going out, doing other stuff, not spending money on cars that they've been doing for the last 2 years, and not being stuck at home in a garage,
Yeah.
A lot of people want to go out because it's post-COVID, and it's just what it is, which I don't blame them. I want to do the same thing. I feel like I got sick of cars because of that, because we couldn't do anything but cars, and that's all I've been doing for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Way more than I've been doing before, with no social life whatsoever. So
I think although you said sell it and then stop buying cars, I think the reason why I want to sell it is I've had my eye on a Lotus Exige S for a long time, a blue one that's been on car sales, and it's been up there for a while.
Yeah.
And it's been on hold for a while, then back to normal, then on hold for a while. So I don't know if people just don't have the finances for it or something at the moment, but it's up for 50.
Yeah.
And I reckon I could probably get about 40 for the STI.
Yeah.
2016 STI, roughly around that, maybe a bit more.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted a Lotus. I don't know what it is. Something just appeals to me about the Lotus, maybe the chassis, the look, something. And one of my really good mates, Rex, his dad had a 111S, and it was twin cam, and it was beautiful. You get up to 6,000 RPM the second, the cam kicks in. My goodness.
I'm totally on board with that, Mitch. I love Lotuses.
And the Exige S supercharged has a little hood scoop,
Yep.
and I don't know what it is. Something just It just tickles my fancy, and I really,
Everything.
really want one.
It's everything. I absolutely love them.
And
So
it's a Toyota,
yeah,
basically. You know what I mean? A few Yamaha modifications, but essentially, like, I could look after it pretty cheap as well.
Yeah.
And then I'd just leave it as it is completely. I don't know if it's stock, the one I'm looking at, but it looks clean, tidy, and yeah, I'd love to be able to drive that on a weekend.
No, I would definitely say that's amazing. It's very good. Yeah, 100%. But then obviously the EK is a really practical car that allows you to do that as well. Yeah, right. Like, so that's where my fundamental is, the fact that it's always well and good to get like one or two cars. I'll say that I'm just gonna have a weekender and one daily, but then like you normally want your car to do a little bit more, and then you go,
especially if you're a car person, a little bit more from this, a little bit more from that.
And then like I believe in purpose-built cars a lot, because I'd rather a car to be like really good at something rather than be jack of all trades.
Yeah,
that's just me. Like I wouldn't like my Evo, if I take it to the track, I'm not unleashing its full potential at all. Current state, like soft suspension and like aircon and all the interior bits that I have. Like I'm not reaching its full like potential, and that kind of gets me. Like I have a very competitive edge where I'm like, no, I kind of want to get there.
That's why I want to see you race in the Civic, where there's less holding you back. Something happens, it doesn't really matter. Like I've never gone more than, I honestly don't think I've gone more than like 8/10 in the Subaru.
Yeah, but it's not even the fact that my purpose-built car, it's not even the fact that the Evo is comfort-based. It's also the fact that, man, I got to drive this to work next week.
Yeah.
Like how much can I possibly push it without breaking it?
Yeah.
I don't want to break it. Yeah. Like last time I broke it and I was kind of happy because I had another daily.
Yeah.
Now it's a different story, Same as a weekender car, like you want it to be a weekender, but then you want to have lots of fun with it, and then you can unleash it more on the track. Like you can have more fun with it on the track. And then if you're having so much fun on the track, then like you're either driving it illegally on the road because you've started doing modifications for the track.
Yeah.
Or like, and then you have the stress of driving on the street where you're like, oh my God, I hope I don't get caught for this. I hope I don't get defected for this. Which is another stress that I just feel like I don't need. Like I'm too old for this now.
Yeah.
When I was young, I did lots of stupid shit, lots of modifications, drove a lot of illegal cars. But
I straight piped a Holden Cruise. Remember, that was pretty stupid.
Yeah, that sounds pretty stupid.
Sounded epic.
1.4
turbo.
But now that you look at it, you don't want that stress. You just want to enjoy a car for the sake of enjoying a car. Which I feel like now with the Evo, I will always have that stress. Unless I pay for the top cover, not fire and theft, like third party fire and theft. Like now I feel like I have to get top cover because of how much hassle I'm going through with insurance with the Evo. And at the end of the day, if I think about it, the Evo is not a brand new car, like it's hard to get parts for.
Yeah.
I had to shop around for a panel beater to get the right one. Because a lot of panel beaters don't touch old Jap cars. So that's why I'm kind of like, it's a little bit more stressful than it needs to be. If I had a brand new car, let's say even something not boring like a Corolla, let's say even if I had a i30N, I know it's more expensive than the Evo, but let's say I had an i30N, I wouldn't be worried. They still make parts for them. It's a brand new car. Yeah. At the end of the day, I take it to the panel beater. The panel beater can get us directly from the dealership, brand new stuff. And all I have to do is pay my excess, or whoever fault it was pays their excess, and bada boom, bada bing. Whereas my Evo was like 3.5 weeks of sourcing parts and secondhand parts. Like it needs a door replaced, but I can't get a brand new door, so I only have the choice of a secondhand door, which like it is what it is. But it wasn't my fault. Someone else crashed into me.
And now you're
why the hell do I get a crappier product?
Yeah.
Like my door was a lot better than whatever secondhand door they're going to get.
Yeah.
know?
Absolutely. Yeah. I getcha.
So in that case, it's a bit annoying.
Yeah. And that's what I'm considering with the STI or whatever car that I keep in the garage, is whether I do that full insurance or not. It's like, if I'm only driving it twice a week, like on a Saturday and a Sunday, do I really need to be paying a crazy amount for comprehensive for it? I mean, being a little bit older now, like being 27, I'm not really hit with those under 25 sort of prices.
Yeah.
The moment I got over 25, it went from $2,500 or $2,700 for the STI down to $1,400.
Yeah.
Which is a massive decrease, right?
I don't think I've gotten
So-
I don't think I've gotten a quote after turning 25, so maybe I should try that.
Yeah.
But the other thing is you can go the completely opposite route where you go like, well, my MX-5 or the RX-7 will be, historic retro or conditional retro. Fully comprehensive insurance for that is $300 a year.
Yeah.
So good. And yes, I don't drive it that much, so that's perfect for me.
Yeah.
And then in that case, I'd much rather have a cheap Civic Daily or something practical and like slow as a daily that I can't get caught speeding in. Because that's the other thing with the Evo. 1 second gear pull and I'm doing like 110. And like,
yeah,
I don't need to be doing that. You know,
that's M2 speeds.
Yeah, literally. Like I can only do that on the on ramp to the motorway or the freeway, and that's it. I'm then like shift up and just cruise.
Yeah.
Which is like kind of boring for the car.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially now that
so
I
much
have
more in it at the top of second.
Yeah, I have a twin plate clutch and I have like a big turbo and I have all this power, and what am I using it for? No reason. Like my 60 kilowatt Civic can do the same thing.
Yeah. I can still get up to 110 in the Civic.
Yeah, exactly. So it's almost useless. That's the only thing that I have with the Evo, because I also don't think I have enough money to make it a track only car. And I obviously don't have money to buy a daily that's better than it. Like it's so comfortable. It's so good that I feel bad for... I would feel really bad if I stripped it out and made it a track car. Because if I did that, then I'd be driving around a MX-5 every day.
Yeah.
And then it's like my track car's way more practical than my everyday car.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a waste, So I don't see the Evo being a track car unless I have money to buy something more practical
than it right now, which is kind of hard to find.
And better as a daily. Yeah. Like, especially for the amount of money the Evo is, it's hard for me to get something equivalent that's better as an everyday car.
Well, we have go-karting coming up this weekend.
We do.
Yeah, are you ready?
I'm not going go-karting. I'm working. I have to work. I'm working this Saturday, so...
What time are you working?
I work, 8:30 to 4:30.
Oh, that's so shit. Right in the middle of the day.
Right in the middle of the day.
Oh.
If we went Sunday, I would have come.
I can't change it now.
Yeah, it's a bit
late
late
to change.
Yeah.
Far out. So you're not coming go-karting, really?
No. You know what? Actually, from what I found, a lot of execs are not coming. Tom's not coming. Max isn't going.
You're not going.
Ali's not going.
That's 4 out of 8. Holy shit. Half of them aren't going.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Ethan's sick, so he might or might not go.
Sick.
Alex is working. I'm working.
I'll go there by myself then.
It's basically just you.
Yeah, I'll just pay the
and maybe Tommy Williams.
I'll just pay the $1,000 up front and that's it. Just me and Tommy will race all day in the Grand Prix.
Have you put a deposit down?
Yeah. Well, it's only 1,000. No, as in we put a $500 deposit for the day.
Yeah.
We only need 10 people to go. We've already got
how many people are going?
Already got more than 10 people saying that they're going.
Okay.
So it'll be fine.
That's good.
But that's a little bit upsetting.
Yeah,
I enjoy that because I know how competitive you get with that sort of stuff as well. So I was looking forward to racing.
Maybe maybe I can get the day off. Like maybe I can swap my shift with someone else.
Do the Sunday. Are you doing Sunday as well?
Nah.
Should have taken the Sunday. Double pay, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, unlucky. You coming skid pan though?
Yes, that's on a Friday night. Hell
yeah.
I'll be down. Yeah. The little MX-5 that could.
I'm gonna drift the STI again.
I don't know how you drift an all-wheel drive, but you do you.
Actually, yeah, it's easier than you think. I really don't know if you'd call it drifting though. Like it's definitely sliding,
like power skidding.
Yeah, it's because it's pulling from the front as well, so it's hard to say whether it's actually drifting. I mean, Ken Block does it really.
Do you pull the handbrake?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, wrench it.
Okay.
I broke it last time. Yeah. Oh, it wasn't that bad. Just one of those little like retainer pins that snapped in it. But
so
I was getting
slide.
Yeah. Like it's really hard to do like lift off oversteer with it because it just understeers. I tried a few times and it just sort of pushes rather than like kicking the back. The only time I've ever been able to do it to get the back to come out was drop the clutch a bit going into second and it sort of locked up a little bit rather than rather than just lifting off and trying to turn in, then accelerating again.
Have you tried trail braking? So like left foot brake while you accelerate. If you do that, you can sort of get it to oversteer.
Yeah, okay. Might try that as well because I don't want to break the handbraking and that'll be really frustrating.
I've gotten the Evo to oversteer like that.
Yeah. You got the like active yaw control and all that sort of
yeah,
stuff.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
A little bit more like rear drive bias.
Yeah, it is.
Then the Subaru is like 60-40 front. So it's
really,
really,
mine's 60-40 rear.
Yeah. So it's like I can
and it can go.
That's it.
I think you can go 80-20 rear on mine.
Although I also did it with very minimal lock diff, like the center diff control.
Yeah,
maybe I could go a little bit more locked for the.
I don't have lock diff control. Well, I do. I have tarmac, snow, and rally.
Yeah. So is it more locked for snow? Like if you put in snow, it's.
I don't know. I've never researched. I've never used any other mode other than tarmac. So maybe I should
put it in gravel. You never take it in gravel.
No. Oh, like even if I do take it in gravel, I just leave it in the tarmac, and I've never had a problem.
Yeah.
Like I've never been bogged anywhere or stuck anywhere. Same as the Jeep. Like honestly, the Jeep has like a gazillion modes for off-roading.
You've used none,
and we've been off-roading many times, and it's never been stuck enough for me to do it. Like I've had like hills that are like, really steep.
Just crawls down.
And it it just slowly crawls down like over the rocks and like loses traction. Like it'll slip a little bit, but it'll catch itself and it'll keep going.
Bloody oath.
Pretty capable actually. Yeah.
Well, Dad's picking up a Isuzu D-Max all-terrain in January.
Hell yeah.
So I might just try my hand at that, take it off-roading a little bit.
January? Is that confirmed?
Yeah. So, I mean, look, it's confirmed till now. Like, who knows?
Yeah, of course.
My boss has ordered the new Wild Track.
Yeah.
Ranger Wild Track. And that was supposed to be delivered at end of November.
Yeah.
And it's now started Jan. And that he was told that like 5 days ago. So, who knows? It is confirmed for January, but...
Yeah, it is what it is, eh?
Yeah. You just have to cop it when they tell you so. I'm keen to have a go at that though.
Yeah.
Now I can take my go-kart somewhere. It'll have a tow bar. I can get a little trailer, or I can just chuck them in the boot.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's gonna have a lot of uses once Dad picks it up.
Oh yeah, dude. And we can use it. We can use it to tow. I don't have to borrow.
Yeah, or you don't have to borrow the Jeep or anything.
Yeah, I don't have to borrow my girlfriend's car every time and bring it back absolutely filthy and then get yelled at.
Yeah.
We can
we can tow the Civic to the track. We can take
the
any
D-Max
car to the track, whatever.
The D-Max also will be way more capable.
Oh yeah.
Than the Jeep. The Jeep struggles up hills with trailing cars.
Yeah, this one's got a butt ton of torque.
Yeah, so. Like I think at one point, I was trailing a 300ZX to Goulburn, like to Wakefield.
Oh, I remember. Yeah.
And at one point I was sitting at 6,000 RPM for like a good 30 seconds.
Really?
Yeah. Before I was like, you know what, like we're not even gonna do 100. Like we'll probably have to do 80 or something.
Wow.
But that's because I have a 3.6 liter V6.
Yeah.
Petrol.
Yeah.
I didn't go for the diesel because she does a lot of short trips, and I was like, diesel's just not for you.
Yeah.
And I don't tow enough. Well, I didn't at that time.
Yeah.
I didn't know that I would tow that much. Yeah. The second I got my trailer, oh my God, I think towed almost every single week, at least one car a week. Or furniture. One car or furniture a week since we've had the trailer for like a
don't know
year
you need
or two.
it till you get it, mate.
Yeah. Now I just
have 2 race cars, so now you're gonna have to use it.
Yeah, now I'm gonna have to use it, especially for myself now.
Mm.
And I just tell other people no. I'm just like,
I'll give you money for fuel. Don't worry.
They're like, oh, I'm broken down somewhere. I'm like, good luck.
Yeah. Did you pick up Emin the night you had the trailer, or the second day you had?
The second day of getting the trailer, I already got a call saying, can you pick me up with your trailer?
I'm in Old Pack. Help.
Yeah, literally. I was like, oh, okay, fair enough. But he's a really good mate, so it worked out really well. And he was genuinely very, very stuck. And guess what the problem was? Made me risk my life, I had to pick him up. He somehow got it onto the freeway from Old Pack to go back. And then he got stuck around a bend on the left lane with no shoulder lane, right? And there were trucks coming through at like 120 downhill around a curve, so they couldn't see anything.
Until last minute. Holy shit.
So I risked my life. We towed it on the left lane with just hazards on, nothing else. Yeah. And guess what the problem was? He didn't even know. He ran out of fuel.
Oh, no.
I was like, I mean,
all that for out of fuel.
I mean, are you kidding me? And he was just like,
fundamental.
He was like, I can't understand what the pain was. He was just like, I don't know what's wrong with it, but it's just not running. Blah 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 blah. And then later on, he was like, the next day, he was like, I couldn't figure it out. I put a jerry can of fuel in it, and it worked.
Oh,
And I was like, how did you not know? And he was like, oh, my fuel gauge is broken. I was like, oh, awesome, dude. Awesome.
Sense, yeah.
Awesome.
Just to reset the odometer each time and just check how many kilometers doing. Like the people with the old bikes that don't have the...
He sold that car. It was a 1986 Mitsubishi Triton. One airbags, complete show car.
Yeah.
Like it's been in some magazines in the 90s.
Wasn't
or
it
something.
a leaky boy as well? Had a few leaks everywhere.
It had a lot of leaks. But like when you would like slam the airbags, it would sit on its chassis. Like the wheels would go above.
That's awesome.
They tucked into the guards. So they were, and the rear was custom fully tubbed. So like a lot of money spent into this car to be a show car. Like I'm saying like a lot of money. And
no maintenance.
Yeah, no maintenance in the last like 20 years because whoever it was just obviously it wasn't a show car anymore, so they gave up. And
that's classic.
And then Emin bought it by swapping it for something. He swapped it for a car that he had, and I don't remember what car it was. But yeah, safe to say it came with a lot of problems. It was carbureted. It was like a 4-cylinder, 1.6 liter, 1.8 liter.
Yeah.
So much for a Ute. Like it couldn't actually go anywhere. It was so weak that if you put something in the tray, either the airbags would sag or it just didn't have enough power to take whatever was in there. So
it was trash.
Yeah, it was trash.
The other thing I was going to bring up was with our marketplace and Facebook and all the cars that are being sold at the moment, I've noticed a lot of gems popping up because they know they can get sort of decent money for it. So I saw a Toyota Corolla 11 A111 or A111.
Yeah.
My goodness. And it was like pristine and clean, factory ITBs, all that sort of stuff.
That's amazing.
And it was like 22 grand. I was like, maybe 5 years ago that thing would be worth like 10, 12.
Yeah.
I don't really know what it would be worth. I'd never really seen one before.
Yeah.
But God, it was gorgeous. And like all these other ones, like these Jap special cars only sold in Japan that are now being imported and then sold for like a fortune here. Oh, I just wish I'd like known about them earlier. I would have bought more. But you know what I mean? Like I wouldn't have bought a Holden Cruise if I knew I could buy an ITB Toyota Corolla. See, that's half the price. Like
that's another reason why I'm always hesitant to sell the Evo is because if I was to sell it and let's say I want another one, which I know that I want another one in the future, right? Will I be able to afford it? Like, are they going to skyrocket to a price where I'm just like, I can't justify that? Knowing that I bought my last one for this much, why would I pay triple or quadruple that in the future?
Yeah.
Knowing that it's older and crappier and it'll have more problems and it'll be weathered away, right? Like, whereas, I don't know. Like, I just, that really scares me. And that's a huge reason why I don't want to sell it. Because I know I want another one. Yeah. That's the same as my RX-7. I get offered like a lot for people like wanting to buy my RX-7 as it is. Yeah. And it's all well and good, but that one, I don't know. Like, what if I do want another one, you know? Like, I chose it as my dream car and I obviously, I stick by it. Like, I still think it's my dream car and I absolutely love it. I know it's a lot of money for me to build and I don't have that money and I won't have that money till after uni, which is a long time. But what if I want another one? Will I spend 100 grand on another one?
Yeah,
it's a bit ridiculous, right? Because I'm not selling
your dream car again. I don't know if it's.
I'm not selling mine for 100 grand. Yeah. So, is it worth me? Is it worth me like waiting? I don't know, like 3-4 years, and then just paying that much more.
Yeah.
Or I could just have my roller sit for the next 3-4 years and just not touch it.
That's kind of why I want that Lotus though as well. Because the Lotus itself, when I was originally looking at them, like this was before I even bought my first car, they were like 30 grand. Yeah. You know what I mean? And now they're closer to 60.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's necessarily because of COVID either. So, yeah, I'm thinking that, you know, if I sell the STI, like the STI is the top of the range for that kind of car, but it's not the desirable model. It's not a Hawkeye. It's not a, you know, late model, limited edition, spec R. But it's just a stock standard premium STI. Yeah, it'll hold its value relatively well, like most STIs do. But it's not, I don't think it's going to be one of those cars that skyrockets, but I don't think I'll ever lose money on buying an Exige S for 50 grand. Now.
No.
You know what I mean? No. But I'll probably not be able to sell my STI for 40 grand in 5 years' time.
Yeah. So that's the other thing. Like, I wouldn't mind swapping it for a car that's also going up in value now. Like, in that case, like, you know how I really want my FD running, right? Like,
Mm.
what if I just swap my Evo for an FD? And then just drive an FD for the next 3 years, and then I can either build mine or sell this and buy an Evo again, or do what I want, you know? Because
Yeah.
an FD suits my lifestyle a lot more right now. Because
Rather
that's
than
what
sell for cash and then buy later, you'll sell for another car that could potentially
that will also
lift
be
up and
worth the
hold
same
its
money,
value.
but
Yeah.
and I get the same enjoyment out of it, right? Like another FD, I would get the same amount of enjoyment out of it, and then at the end of the day, I can choose like which of my FDs I sell, or if I want an Evo, and then what do I do, right?
Yeah.
Depending on that, because in my lifestyle today, I don't need a 5-seater 4-door practical car. I don't. I live.
You have access to other cars that are useful, like the GP, and if you really need to use it,
Yeah,
you can,
yeah.
You know?
If I really need like a practical car, I can just borrow a car. But realistically, I don't. Like I'm by myself when I'm normally traveling. I don't normally take passengers, and if I do, it's maximum one passenger, which is my girlfriend. So a 2-seater is more than enough.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm trying to see is, obviously I'm getting older every day. My 2-seater impractical sports car is sitting dead in my workshop, and my 5-seater practical car is running now. But I don't have kids, and I don't need my 5-seater practical car now. But I will need it in the
Eventually,
future.
Yeah.
And when I finish uni, and I have enough money, maybe with a job, to finish the FD, I'm gonna finish the FD, and then I'm gonna be like, oh my god, it's so low, my knees hurt to get in it. Oh my god, it's so impractical. I have dogs, or like kids I need to cart around, or something or the other. Then the Evo comes in, and I'm like, the Evo is a perfect car for this. And then the FD will just stay dead forever, you know?
Which is a sad note.
Which I don't want. I don't want that to happen. So in that case, I would love to have the Evo dead and the FD running. Like if I could swap positions with those two cars, I would.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I
think the thing for me right now is that I need a practical daily, and I think I do have too many cars. Like, why does one person need 3 cars that basically all do the same thing? It's not like I have one dedicated track, one whatever. It's like they basically all are dailies at the moment.
Yeah.
And I'm paying insurance on all of them, and I'm paying rego on all of them. And I just don't need that sort of expense. And like, I'm getting a little bit older, and you're right, like the knees get creaky when you get a little bit older, like I have to admit. But I think that I'd be happy just with one, and then having the option for the track car, which is what we have with the Civic. I just don't think I need all these extra expenses. But then I can guarantee you, I'll get to 40, I'll have like, my life relatively sorted, and I'll end up wanting another sports car like that, I guess that's the feeling most guys get when they get to that sort of age.
You will want it. Like, of course, I will always want a nice sports car, but your taste will change to, it won't be a loud, obnoxious, stiff.
Yeah, it'll be a
2-seater sports car.
It'll be a Porsche 911 Carrera 4S or something.
Like it'll be something a little bit newer. It'll be something a little bit more comfortable. It'll be something geared towards luxury rather than geared towards
having like Apple CarPlay and things. Like, although my STI is a premium, it doesn't have Apple CarPlay. What the hell's going on with that?
Whereas, like, I already think I'm too old to have a loud FD. Like, even my FD, I feel like I'll have to make sure that it's a little bit on the quieter side.
Yeah,
it'll be fun, performance-y, rear-wheel drive, lots of power, but I want it to be a little bit quieter. I want it to be a little bit more on the comfortable side, because it is a weekend car. Yet again, a little bit too expensive for me to track, I think. I would love to have more track days with it. Like, I did take it to the track. I did enjoy it on the track. But knowing how much they're worth, I think that like deters me a little bit. If I left it stock, maybe, but if I'm spending a lot more money into it, then it's a different story. And sometimes I wish I didn't go down the modified route. Sometimes I wish that I kept it factory. And just enjoyed it as it was.
Yeah, absolutely. I think in the next like couple of years, I'm probably going to move on from this air water power job, and I've always wanted to get into the automotive industry. That's been like my goal basically from the start, and I think this is a good little stepping stone. But there's not much to do automotive wise in Australia.
Nah.
Because nothing's made here anymore. It's all made overseas, like in, Korea, Japan, wherever it might be.
Yeah, we have no manufacturing. We have no R&D.
So
you're only basically working for aftermarket stuff, like modification bits for cars. In that way, our market is pretty big.
Yeah.
But like you're very limited, right? Limited on what you can do and can't do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm thinking like a Germany sort of move would be the right thing to do.
Oh,
because
really?
I have family over in Germany, and the engineering over there is enormous.
Oh, 100%.
It's one of the most advanced, and also
I feel like you would also get a job fairly easily as an engineer,
even if
in
it
the
was
automotive
project
industry.
management engineering over there, in the same sort of
Yeah.
stuff that I'm doing now.
I mean, they have like
transition.
They have like three big like cities that are dedicated to manufacturing.
Yeah.
Volkswagen, Audi group cars.
Yeah.
There's Stuttgart, which is Porsche, I believe.
I wouldn't be able to confirm, but I'll take your word for it.
Ingolstadt, which is Audi.
Yeah.
And then something for the Volkswagen. I could be completely wrong, but
I
did this history.
I can't fact check.
I'll
take your word for it.
I did this history lesson in my first year of apprenticeship.
Yeah.
It was like my first lesson was like the history of the company.
Well, I'll be based in Munich, I think, because that's where most of my family is. So I'll probably start there and see what happens. But if you go to Germany, that means you don't need any cars in Australia.
No.
So yeah, that's
you're not going to be taking
another consideration.
Not going to be taking your Civic over.
Yeah, I won't be shipping a $4,000 car over there now.
Yeah,
thanks.
Yeah. Well, that's the easy way. Like, that's the other thing with the cheap cars, which is so good. Like, you can sell your EK for the same value, if not more, in the future.
One of the only good things about cheap cars, they also sell. You buy them cheap, but they also sell cheap, which means you don't lose a huge amount of money other than your rego and insurance on it each year.
The EG, we already have the set up. Like, I'll just take it over, and then when you come over, we can both enjoy it as usual. Yeah. And the STR you're already planning to sell, which is going to be the hard selling car, really, out of all of them.
Yeah.
Like, you put any of the Civics up, they'll go within a day.
Yeah, yeah.
But the STR is the one that you're going to be stuck with for a little bit.
Yeah, I think so.
In terms of selling it.
Yeah. I have to say with the Civic, though, those very minor modifications that we've done so far on it, I think add like a huge amount of value. Like having decent headlights on a car, so undervalued. Like, I was driving that Civic with basically one Parker and like half a headlight. Right?
Yeah.
And it was on the borderline dangerous. Like driving it at nighttime. And now I have better lights than my STI, even though they're the Xenon, whatever they are.
Yeah.
And little modifications like that, little fix ups, like fixing up the tint, etc. You can then just sell it for more anyway. Like I could spend $1,000 on the Civic now tidying up some things.
Yeah.
And I have to mention as well, I got some Ganador side mirrors.
Aerodynamics. It's very necessary for track.
So
track car,
it. But yeah, little modifications like that, and then flip it. And, I see people doing it every day.
Yeah.
Online, just slight modifications, or just take all the modified bits off a car, put the stock ones on, and then sell the car. Like, it's just for the cheap cars, easy money, easy work. Yeah, I think we're gonna put the Ganadors on tonight.
Tonight?
Yeah. After this, another video.
That's very soon.
More editing.
Ganadors.
Yeah.
In the dark at 9:00 at night.
One of my mates from work just linked me. He goes, "You wouldn't." And I sent him the screenshot of the pay ID. I was like, "I did."
Already done.
Already done, mate. And it took me 20 minutes. So unnecessary, but yeah.
Yeah. Oh well. Well, I'd like to say thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
I feel like you're going to be on the podcast a lot more.
Yeah.
I hope a lot more. You've got a little bit more time. And then December onwards, you're going to have a lot more time.
Yeah. I'd like to help you with a few more of the videos and stuff like that.
Yes.
Not only the filming, but, just helping out with the editing, because it's a big job.
It is. And I'm learning as I go, and I'm not that good at it.
Yeah.
So.
I think maybe one of the next ones have a couple more of the lads on.
Yeah.
We can get some more equipment or whatever.
Yeah. I can have up to 4 people on, we can all chill out on the couch and talk crap.
So I'm keen for some banter.
Yeah.
Some shit chat.
Something some people may have noticed. I know this is very late in the episode for me to mention this, but we're actually live streaming this. We're live streaming and recording this. So if you are listening to the episode basically it means that you can ask us questions when we go live, and we'll answer them on the podcast as we go. So we can do a full podcast like we've just done, and then at the end we'll just answer any questions that you guys have. And yeah, that'll be a format that I kind of want to keep up. This yet again is our test stream, more like. And then I also need to extract audio out of this. So there's a lot of things that I need to learn how to do, and I don't know 100%. But once we sort that out, I'm hoping that this podcast will be a little bit better for viewers in terms of interaction. Yeah, get a lot more interaction in, and just get more involvement for everyone, like my friends, and you guys and everyone. Yeah,
absolutely.
So
thank you very much for having me on.
No, and
the next one.
Thanks guys for listening, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and just ring that notification bell. That's what it's called.
Yeah, press that button,
and you'll get notified when we go live. And so you can ask us questions on the go. At the moment, no particular schedule on when we stream, but hopefully I can come up with that once I figure it out with everyone else. It's the fact that I don't have to it's not just my schedule I have to line up, it's everyone's schedule who I want people on to line up, so it's a little bit harder to do.
Yeah.
And hopefully, I know I say this every single time, a lot more episodes coming in. Hopefully we can do this at least once a week from now on.
And some install videos and some other exciting stuff.
Yeah, there's other videos happening. Well, we definitely have recorded a video, so it's just a matter of time when we have time to edit it and then post it up. And that'll all be happening. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.